Okay, friends, welcome to another episode of Wake Up Beyond the Surface with yours truly, Sarah Larson. Okay, I sound ridiculous. Anyway, I wanted to bring Sarah Talk to the surface. I wanted to bring what goes on in this lovely head of mine and bring it to you guys and not just hold it with my husband and I, because as great as it's been, it's time to expand. He is way on his journey, and now it's time to give you guys the golden nuggets that he has been getting for so long. Sarah Talk with Robert is not going away, so don't worry, babe. I just want to bring it to the world because it is so transformational. It is what has helped me personally on my journey to healing and to recognizing the trauma that I experienced and how to become the person that I was. So let's be real. Trauma is a big thing, okay? For so many years, starting way back, I can remember telling all my friends, they would talk about, family vacations, they would talk about all these things. And I would sit back and be like, I don't remember up until a certain age. And they're like, what do you mean you don't remember? I'm like, I don't remember around up until 5, right? 5 or 6. I didn't remember. And they're like, what are you talking about? So my dad and mom separated when I was 4. I don't remember living with my dad. And so literally blackout, guys. I see pictures. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Literally could not tell you. Nothing, right? It's the craziest thing. So trauma is so real. And what your brain and your body does to help you get through and cope with trauma, y'all, literally mind-blowing. So my talk with you guys today is going to be centered around healing, because that is what I do. And I want to open you guys up to what trauma is, and not to be afraid or ashamed of your trauma, and to not even that, but recognize it happened. It is something that you can't change. It is something that you can't bury and make it go away. Proof that that is not true and you can't do it. It is proof that you just can't experience trauma, shove it under the rug, and then expect your entire life to be fine, because that trauma will find you. It is literally in your DNA. It is within your brain, buried into one of those little crevices that we have in there. And it's going to show up in certain responses. Certain triggers are going to make things and situations feel the same or different. You don't understand. And for me, that is exactly what it was. I had triggers and I had responses in my life that I knew that was clearly me, because that was a response and that's who I was, but it didn't feel like it was myself. I did not like it. And then I just started owning it at some point, because everybody was like, this is how you are. And I'm like, but that's not yes, I respond that way. Got it. Own it, claim it. But that's not how I want to be. How do I stop it? I could never figure out the reason or way of how to stop it. So tons of counseling and all these things. And you guys, you sit back and look at patterns and behaviors in your life and recognize that at some point, whether it's, again, a big trauma or a small trauma, you have adopted coping mechanisms or some sort of pattern that is yours to cope with it. If you have not dealt with this is if you have not dealt with your trauma. And for some people, your patterns or addictions or whatever that may have turned into are acceptable. And for some, they're not acceptable. They're not socially acceptable, so to speak. So meaning some people who experience trauma, whether you remember or you don't, subconsciously or consciously, your body is so smart that it is going to try to either run and drive things out or numb things out, just depending on if it's that fight or flight, whichever one you decide. And so that's when we will have addiction to some substance, drugs, alcohol, something of a negative that is not socially acceptable. The other side we can see, which I have personally driven myself into, was the positive, the workaholic, the person who is very, very, very into health and fitness. They're very into nutrition. They focus on one thing that they're good at, and they really make that, and it's something good for them, right? They really want to add value to themselves. And so they think that the adding of the value is whatever they're good at, right? Whereas the other side kind of goes into that like completely opposite, and they don't feel valued, and so they get that suppressant, right? So trauma is just crazy. And what a lot of us get caught up on is the trauma itself, the person, place, or thing. And when we get caught up on these people, these situations, or these places, then we're not figuring out the lesson or the growth behind that trauma. We are only focused on, why did that happen to me? Why did they do that? What did I do wrong? How could I have changed that, right? All these questions of trying to fix or change the solution, or the problem. And when you try to fix or change a problem that had already happened, you can't. You can't fix something that has already occurred. You can only create a new pattern response to that is to come. And so when you get fixated on this people, places, and things, then you're not solving problems. And our mind, our ego tricks us into, the lower vibrational self tricks us into, you're working, but you're really not. You're just reliving, and you're just sitting in that same stagnant energy of reliving and reliving and reliving without any solution. And when you sit back and you are searching for an answer that you're not going to find, because that is not what these traumas are there for. They're not for us to occur, to sit in them. You're not going to find an answer going back and reliving and asking why, because that is not what they're there for. Like, that is not what that's not why you experience that. You experience that. And don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I'm not saying that you called this in or whatever. Like, you specifically just experienced whatever it was because you were to learn. You were to grow, not stay stuck. So when good things happen to us, right, we're so excited, we're eager to learn, and we're like, I'm taking this with me, and I'm gonna feel good every time this happens. But when something negative happens, we're like, why didn't it happen the good way? Well, that's life. This is part of living human experience. This is part of life. You will have bad things happen to you. You will have traumas, again, whether big or small, in this lifetime. You're gonna have heartache, you're gonna have loss, you're gonna have life, you're gonna have people agree or disagree with you, you're gonna have people call you ugly names, you're gonna have it all. That's life. And if you haven't experienced that, I want your number, because I want to live your life, okay? This is life. All of us experience this. And so when you have these traumas, you can move through them by trying to figure out why you experience them. Not, why did this happen to me? Why did they do this? Why would I have experienced this? Why would my higher power allow something to happen like this to me? And when you can sit back and understand that there is growth behind everything in your life, good, bad, and ugly, that is when you can learn and grow and turn the other way from that past self and that past experience and step into the new, because you're going to have a new perspective of this person, place, or thing. You're going to see the lesson that you are to take out of that and how it can add so much value to you rather than allowing that person, place, or thing to devalue you, to take your life, to take your soul, to take your thoughts, your creativity, your worthiness, right? We all at some point in our life have felt this. And if you haven't, God bless you, like so much love. But we all have these things, okay? And when you experience them and you can finally say, I'm ready to learn. I am tired of experiencing this over and over again. I do not like this feeling. This is not who I want to be. I am ready for full-on growth. Then you turn and start facing these things one by one, and not to relive them, to point fingers and to blame that person and to see, I was right. This is not a righteous journey. This is not to prove someone wrong. This is not to blame other people. This is not to say, I had no control into this. It was all their fault. I want zero responsibility. That is not what this journey is. Healing journey is not about pointing fingers. It is completely opposite. It is about taking everything within and saying, how can I learn and grow? How can I move in this lifetime into a space of joy and happiness with the things that have occurred? And I'm going to tell you guys, personally, as well as working with so many people who have experienced some sort of trauma that has stopped them from growth in their life, when you face these things, you become a different person. You move differently. You speak differently. You respond and you see other people differently. You literally walk this earth knowing that you are so supported and guided from a higher power, and you learn in every aspect of your life. And I am so grateful that I have finally reached this point in my life that I can grow. I can finally say I am a product of the Wake Up brand. I am the product of turning your life from questions, lots and lots of questions, into not just answers, but solutions and growth. When you heal, you have the ability to heal generations that come after you. And once again, I will tell you that I am the product of the opposite, generational, of not healing. And when you can sit back and say, healing is powerful. I'm going to tell you guys, healing is so powerful. You are discovering who you are, who you're meant to be, without judgment, without fear. For me to sit right here in front of this camera and speaking to you and letting you know that there is a way to heal. There's a way to live the life. I'm getting emotional here. Sorry. There is a way to live your dream. And I am product of it. And I'm so grateful to be that product. And I'm so grateful to bring so much joy and love and understanding to so many people out in this world. So thank you guys for trusting me. You know who you are. And to sit back and to know that we all are going to experience trauma. We can't stop it. You cannot stop the experience of human life. But what you can do is you can build such a strong foundation of faith, love, understanding, patience, all the things that we're taught that our Creator has given us and continues to give us day in and day out. you're able to walk this life, and when trauma or hardships, whatever you want to call it, enters your life, you know how to handle it. It's not to say that it's going to be easy. It's hard. We have emotions. We're human, right? When we hear the news of a lost one or a loved one that we've lost, it's going to hurt, guys. You're gonna have emotions and feelings when you love someone and you lose them. When someone hurts your feelings, because you still have feelings, just when you heal doesn't mean your feelings go away and no one can ever hurt you again. When people come into your space and they hurt your feelings or you're offended by something, you know how to handle that rather than fighting and attacking. You go within and you recognize, why? What am I to learn from this hurt? Thank you for hurting my feelings. I now can go figure out another piece of me. I hope you find that piece of you that hurt me, because you clearly have that same hurt. So good luck to you on your journey, right? That's kind of what you do as you heal. You don't look to be offended. You look to be healed. Heal people, and hurt people. So if you are being hurt by someone, it's typically because they are on some level in some hurt and pain themselves. There's so many sayings out there that we need to wake up to. You don't know the shoes that somebody walks in. I can't tell you how many times throughout the years, telling my story, friends, strangers, loved ones would sit back and go, "You are so strong. I would have never known." Well, you never asked. And of course, people are not going to go walk around. Most people, let me rephrase that, are not going to go walk around and tell you like, "Hey, Sally, guess what? I had XYZ, like bad stuff." Nobody's going to tell you that. They're going to put their armor on and they're going to want to be as normal as possible, right? They're going to want to fit in because they don't want to bring negative attention to themselves. So you don't know the shoes that other people walk in. So be kind. Be kind. If you have hurt and pain in your heart, your neighbor probably has hurt and pain in their heart. If you have judgment, frustration, anger, somebody that you're next to probably has the same thing and is trying to really hold it together. So be kind to other people on your journey in life, in life in general. Open your heart to healing on all levels. And an open heart to healing is a mind, a body, a soul that is open to learning, open to understanding yourself and connecting to yourself. This is the journey of healing trauma in any shape, way, or form. One of the misconceptions that people have is that if you lived a picture perfect life, you didn't really have that much trauma, right? Like physical, emotional trauma. Like you really grew up with a great family. You grew up with, typical parents that were there and supportive. They're like, I didn't experience trauma, so I can't relate. That's not true. Trauma does not have to be very dramatic. It can be very simple and subtle. It can be the rejection of a cheerleading team. It could be a friend not including you to have a sleepover when you were best friends. It could be somebody talking about you when there's something that's untruthful. Like, these are small little things that you can consider hurt, pain, but there's some sort of trauma, right? Trauma means like hurting, bruising, physical. If we go physical, it's an emotional trauma to you. That is emotionally hurtful to you. And so those small things can affect you. They can stop you from going for your big dreams. They can stop you from experiencing love. They can stop you from becoming the person that you really want to be, traveling the world. It can stop you through fear, right? You may not travel or do things because you were told you were never and would never be capable of it. So these don't have to be dramatic traumas. They can be very subtle. You could have experienced a lot of grief, loss as a young child, or a teenager, an adult, whatever it may be. but that is your journey. So don't think that you have to have experienced this huge traumatic life to heal. You can heal from these smaller things that have affected you in some sort of way. Again, so simple. It could be somebody making fun of your clothes. We keep going. There's so many simple things that can show up, and it affects the behaviors that you create, the patterns that you create. And some of them are within us. We create them ourselves because we trigger ourselves, but they're still there. So this whole moral of the story, Sarah Talk can ramble on, but for real, this journey of life is not meant for us to question, to judge, to compare, to sit back and be picture perfect and have a social media life that everything's peachy keen. This life is for you to experience the utmost joy, love, happiness, peace. You are to live your life in harmony, in alignment with who you came here to be. And as weird or normal as that is your life. I will tell you, I have accepted that I'm weird. My kids tell me all the time, Mom, you're so weird. Yes, I am. I am perfectly fine with being weird, guys. If you want to be weird with me, come on. I like dance parties. I like coffee all the time. I like music, art. You want to be weird with me? Come be weird. But this life is not to sit back and say, I can't be weird because nobody likes weird. Well, I do. So here I am. You don't have to fit in. That was one of the things that I felt so much. I feel like I had to fit in. I'm made to stand out. I don't want to fit in. I want to be that light that shines and people are like, she's different. I am different. I've always been different, and here I am. I'm expressing my different. So express your different. Connect to your true self. If you are having any sort of feeling that you are not who you are, like there's something missing, you may be aware of what that missing piece is, you may not, but if you are finding yourself responding out of character, right? You're like, this doesn't feel right, but I've always responded this way. I've just accepted that this is who I am, but it still doesn't feel right. It's time to go within. If you find yourself having the same negative patterns or situations, people, places, things showing up year after year, person after person, place after place, it's time to go within. If you are so lost in this world, you don't know what your purpose is. You can't even see happiness if it hit you in the face. It's time to go within. Go within and stop pointing fingers out into the world. Stop saying it's Sally's fault. That job just wasn't it. Go within, guys. Do not wait to go within. Do not let another year pass by for you to have to figure this out. I searched for years and years. I wanted answers. And it wasn't until the answers weren't just for me. The answers were for my kids. I needed to become and show up as the full, most amazing woman that I felt that was deep down inside of me. I searched, and I searched for a really long time before they were here. And I thought I found her, but I only found a piece of her. It wasn't until I went deep within and I stopped pointing fingers. I stopped saying people won't listen to me. Let me rephrase that. I still say that. I think that's just within me. But I stopped caring if people would listen to me. Let's go that way. I stopped caring if people would listen to me. I stopped waiting for validation to go on my healing journey. I needed to do it for my kids, and I did. So when you can find that true healing and you can go within, you will find peace. It's going to be a process. You're going to trust that process. You're going to know that you are facing darkness, right? But you face darkness every day. You just try to run from it. This time you're not running. This time you know what it feels like because you've experienced it. You felt this feeling before. You knew, and you know what that feeling is, because I will tell you, the feeling that I ran from is the feeling that I had to face. And as soon as I faced it, I found my answers. There was no more hiding, but there was also no more darkness. So I didn't need to hide. Now it's all out on the surface. It's there for me to see. It's there for me to own and say, yep, that was my life. And here I am today because I chose differently. I chose better. I chose to heal instead of blame. And I am so grateful that I did. So if you are on your own journey, know that you are so near and dear to my heart. Know that you can do this. It is simply a matter of continuing to remind yourself of how strong you are, how brave you are, and that in the end, you get to meet the person that you always knew you were inside. And for that, I am so grateful to share this with you, to know that you, again, aren't alone. And the person that I got to meet at the end of the day, she's amazing. I knew she was there. I knew I was her. And I'm so proud of those people, the little girl, the young lady, the young adult that I was, and today, the strong woman that I've become. That was hard for me to say years ago, guys, but today, I know my strength. And it's still, as you can tell, it's empowering. Sometimes I don't want to believe it, but the proof is in the pudding. God has blessed me. He has blessed my house. He has blessed my family. And I know that He is blessing you every single day. Just trust. Trust the process. Trust that when you go through this organically, you will come out on the other end. So welcome to Wake Up Beyond the Surface. Welcome to a whole new world of learning and growing on every aspect, from health, from mindset, relationships, children. We're going to talk about it all. So here is to new beginnings and to your healing journey. Cheers, my friend. Sending you so much love, so much light,